What's up, everyone? Mike from What the Fun. This debate section is from our latest episode of Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. The full episode is found on any podcast app of choice with Apple and Spotify links down below. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. We are heading on into the blind fight, and speaking of JRPGs, in honor of Cam being on the show this week, I devised a question. For our JRPG friend here. Okay, you guys, you are tasked with choosing a franchise that is zero things to do with JRPGs and pitch me a JRPG version. Ooh. So, for example, take Call of Duty. Call of Duty has zero JRPGs about it. Pitch me a Call of Duty JRPG. That's just an example. Please don't choose COD. You will not win that debate. I'm just telling you that right now. And yeah, so that is the choice. Again, we are choosing the franchise that has never been a JRPG. Do you think
as in like turn-based combat? Turn-based combat.
Yeah, turn-based combat, that sort of thing.
That kind of structure.
But also the fanatical story that you get in some of those JRPGs as well. Sure. What franchise could fit into that mold? Pitch me a franchise. Cicero, you won that last debate, therefore you get to choose said order of this blind fight. Okay. Gentlemen, we are running long into the tooth, so we are going to have our opening arguments, and then I will give you a quick attack rebuttal of 45 seconds to your opponents. So, Cicero, who's going first?
We are going to go with Cam going first, Duck going second, and Cicero going last.
Because y'all need the time to think, because I know I do.
I don't play JRPGs, but Cam, good luck.
All right.
Cam, your opening argument is not timed. Okay. So make sure it's, substantial.
Yes. So this is kind of like the first one that came to mind that I think has a lot of potential. And that is Mass Effect. Mass Effect is already a phenomenal RPG. It already has a lot of the great elements that you would find in a JRPG, but in this instance, it would be turn-based combat. There is, a rich cast of characters, which you would expect in a premium JRPG. There already are a wide range of abilities that each character has that can be implemented very well into battle with enemies having, or I mean, not even just enemies, but players or enemies having armor system, a shield system, abilities that significantly hurt shield and armor. We have, you have the med packs for healing. It would all primarily be gun play, but again, there are characters like Grunt, right, that rams into characters. There will be melee combat as well that can be implemented through abilities. I think that, and then of course, again, there's just like the phenomenal writing and choices to raise the bond with your characters that will help them unlock new abilities or skills for certain characters. And then, I think that the unlock system of those abilities for like Shepard doesn't really need a whole lot of changing, but I do think that you can utilize the bonding with your crewmates to implement bonuses and unlocks in battle. And I can see certain enemy or certain party members being more effective against kind of playing with the alien the different alien species. Like certain alien races are more effective against other alien races for this, that, and the other. Just using like that world at its fullest to make combat, while turn-based, which may not work for some people, as strategic and iterative as possible.
Great opening argument. Mass Effect for Cam. Cicero, you said you were last, so Justin is second. Choose
Thanks,
a
Cicero.
franchise.
Justin's like, I don't know what this is.
No, I've got a game. I have to put it together. I've got like different versions I want to think about. So I'm going to take a game that I loved playing. There was a few different versions of it, and one that came out that didn't really hit right. And let's change the formula. I like Cam's idea, by the way, Mass Effect, but I think it's a little too simple for me. I'm going to go a little bit crazier, which is something Duck does. Instead of just adding a J to the RPG, I'm changing the whole formula. And I'm taking Left 4 Dead. And I'm making this 4-player survival game, turn-based. Survival horror, trying to find out the reason of the outbreak here. Each of the characters would have their own abilities. They would each have their own weapons. And it would be turn-based, going through the open apocalypse, trying to solve what happened. Boss fights, obviously, with the different infected types. Zombie hordes, you would have to be all turn-based. It would slow down the combat, which I think is similar with Mass Effect. The combat would be definitely slowed with the turn-based aspect. But in this sense, it's allowing a new audience. It's giving kind of a telltale adventure with narrating through dialogue instead of through cinematics, cutscenes. It's going to have different abilities that you would learn, crafting like usual in Left 4 Dead, so you can build things along the way and make your fight and your journey different from everyone else's. And overall, I think the darker feel of it would really work well for a JRPG. Having those tones through a scary sense, but also slowing it down so it's not too scary, is a weird niche that I think would really work for Left 4 Dead. And I think that it would work really well for JRPGs in general to kind of add a new subgenre into JRPG. I think that the exploration would really help, going building by building in an open world apocalypse, but also slowing it down when there's combat, knowing things are coming and strategizing to take it down with your abilities would be really helpful. And then moving together as a group, a party per se, through this apocalypse would really feel great. And what's cool about it is multiplayer could still be a thing, because you can have those people playing with you in your party, either 2x2 or someone playing as the horde coming at you. Turn-based with strategy with your skills on both sides of the arena would really work out for Left 4 Dead and really shake up the formula completely. And it's crazy, but it just might work.
All right, Left 4 Dead. Cicero, opening argument.
Good luck, Cicero.
So seriously, this time this is hard to follow. It is definitely hard to follow Duck, because that was a great suggestion, just kind of out of.
I just want another Left 4
out of
Dead
nowhere.
game.
Yeah, out of nowhere. But I think I'm gonna like steer into the swerve, into the skid or whatever. Yeah, whatever that analogy is or whatever that idiom is, because while it's not a JRPG, my game is an action RPG, kind of in the same vein as Cam's Mass Effect call.
Mm-hmm.
But mine is a Japanese action RPG, and that's Ghost of Tsushima. So Ghost of Tsushima, as when I heard this question asked, that was the game that popped into my head. And I think it would work perfectly, right? It would just be removing the action part of that game. So you could do it in 3D, you could do it in 2D, right? There's so many different ways that you could play this game and make it a JRPG. You don't even have to change any of the story. So You could have the 2D version with 3D cutscenes, or with the full cinematics the way that it is, or you could do essentially have the same game that you have with a turn-based element, and add more, make some of the battles a little bit more fantastic, right? But you could just take some of those elements out, and then you just have RNGesus is the the random number generator is doing all the work for you. So I think Ghost of Tsushima is a slam dunk as a JRPG. It's beautiful. It's a great story. There are great elements in it. You have a party that you meet along the way. You can fight with them. You have perfect enemies that you can deal with that have armies sometimes, and then other times there are random encounters. So you can play the game stealthy, where you're walking around, but if your stealth isn't high enough, maybe they'll add like a broken stick mechanic that you snap and alerts the guards, and then you wind up in these random encounters. You can have like just random encounters, a la some classic JRPGs as you're playing along. But the world is already there. You've got 2 islands, this massive continent that you can play against. It's all right there. You just turn it into a JRPG, and that it's a totally different game while being the same game.
Okay. Point of clarification there. Did you say RNGesus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted
Yes.
to make sure I heard you
Random,
correctly.
Yeah, the random number generator.
Okay, Cam, you have 45 seconds to rebuttal against your opponents and knock down their arguments. Clock starts when you start talking.
Left 4 Dead is a very specific game type, a very specific niche that like people wouldn't like. That Left 4 Dead fans, like hardcore Left 4 Dead fans, aren't looking for a change of formula. They want to keep it the same, and what they want to enhance that experience. Ghost of Tsushima, if it was turn-based, that would make some of the best parts of that game like not exist. Like the duels. Like the duels were always so cool, and if you make it turn-based, then they're not really like the traditional cool duel sense that like you want out of a samurai game. And also just with all the different stances that happen with the action-based combat, I think that would translate poorly to turn-based combat.
Time.
That's my 45.
Yeah. Right on time, pretty much. Justin, rebuttals. Clock starts when you start talking.
So yes, Left 4 Dead fans don't know they want this. They want a good Left 4 Dead game, but they don't want to ruin the past legacy. They don't want to get something crappy again. Screw it. Again, like Back 4 Blood. This needs to be something new and inventive. It was good for 2 days, yes. And then you've got a new game, a JRPG, that can take the apocalyptic world and also pump vibrant anime into it to bring 2 genres to a new subgenre, which that would be this. In subgenre, JRPG horror. This would be something that would be unique enough that's different from the original.
Time. Nope.
I didn't say anything.
Unique enough was the last words. All right, Cicero, your final
That's impact
rebuttal.
right there.
Right. That is impact. So, Justin, Left 4 Dead is a great answer. I don't know how well it does apply, but it is definitely out of left field. The other games are other games. That's fine. I just want to talk about what was said about my game, which is that yes, the duels will be now RNG, and then there will be a cutscene, and you'll be able to watch it. Plus, you can do the stances and give yourself more powers. That's what happens in RPGs anyway. Look at River City Ransom or games just like that. We can add those mechanics into it. Perfect.
Yeah, pretty much right on time. Solid deal. Solid deal. Good God, good God, good games, guys. GG's. Anyway,
yes.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired.
Right.
Anyway, good job, guys. It goes back to the opening arguments. I think Justin had a brilliant sort of like survival horror aspect of it. Would slow down combat, yes, you did say that, but ultimately, it was a really good opening argument. Cicero, Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if you fleshed it out as much as I wanted, but still, I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. I definitely want to get to it.
Me too.
I gotta give it to Cam here. I believe that he went into the systems more specifically and how they would affect the game as a JRPG. The systems of Mass Effect. He talked about the med kits. He talked about relationships and growing your party and stuff like that. So I just thought that he gave me a little bit more on how it would translate to a JRPG than either of you guys. So Cam, you take the cake.